24 April isn't just another day on the calendar. It's not just a Thursday or a date you scroll past or something you write in your planner and forget about. No. 24 April is different. It's a turning point. It's that invisible line in the sand that separates the life you've lived from the life you're meant to live. It's that rare moment where everything can shift. Not because of magic, not because the stars align, but because you decide that it does. This isn't about waiting for the perfect opportunity. It's about realizing you are the opportunity. You are the shift. You are the turning point. Most people drift through life. They wait. They wait for the right job, the right partner, the right timing. They say things like, "I'll start when I'm ready," or "I'll change when things calm down." But here's the truth. Nothing is coming to save you. No one is going to knock on your door and hand you your dream life wrapped in a pretty little box. It's not about luck. It's not about timing. Not about the weather or the economy. It's about what you do now. 24 April is the call. It's the moment when waiting ends and movement begins. You know that feeling in your chest? That tightness? That frustration? That ache that comes from knowing you were built for something more, but somehow you keep repeating the same day over and over like you're trapped in a loop? That feeling? That's your soul screaming for a turning point. That's your inner voice saying, "Please, no more of this. No more settling. No more pretending everything's fine when it's not." That voice is begging for a moment like 24 April. A day to interrupt the pattern. To smash through the glass wall you didn't even know you were behind. A day where something clicks and you finally say, "I'm done playing small." Because a turning point isn't loud. It's not fireworks and marching bands. It's not some epic scene from a movie. It's quiet. It's personal. It's that decision you make when no one's watching. It's that conversation you have with yourself in the dark. It's that whisper of no more. It's choosing discipline over distraction. It's choosing to show up even when you're tired. It's looking at your own excuses and saying, "Not today." That's what makes 24-hour April powerful. Not because it comes with a ceremony, but because it comes with a choice. You know what happens when you treat one day like the most important day of your life? Everything changes. Your energy shifts. Your focus sharpens. You start looking at your habits differently. You stop saying, "I don't have time," and start asking, "What am I prioritizing?" You stop blaming the outside world and start reclaiming your power. And once you take your power back, once you stop waiting for permission and start owning your choices, you can't be stopped. You become dangerous to everything that tried to hold you back. And that's what makes 24 April sacred. It's not a date, it's a declaration. It's when you stop being a passenger in your life and grab the damn wheel. When you stop pointing fingers and start building something that matters. When you stop running from the mirror and finally look yourself in the eye. This is the day you say, if it's going to happen, it's going to be me. Not tomorrow, not next month, now. The world isn't waiting, time isn't pausing, your future isn't sitting there on hold while you scroll, procrastinate, or overthink. Every second that passes is a brick in the life you're building, whether you're aware of it or not. In 24 April, that's the day you become aware. That's the day you start laying down bricks with purpose, with vision, with fire in your chest. You stop building someone else's dream and start chasing your own with a kind of relentless focus that scares people. Not because you're arrogant, not because you think you're better, but because you finally know who the hell you are and you're not willing to bury that person anymore. It's not going to be easy. There's no guarantee you'll get applause. No one might notice at first. You might still feel fear. You might still have doubts. And that's exactly why you lean into it. Because the moment you feel uncomfortable, That's the signal. That's the indicator you're getting closer to something real. That's when you know you're on the edge of the old you, and the only thing standing between where you are and where you want to be is movement. This is the beginning of a new standard, a new rhythm, a new relationship with yourself. One where you don't break promises to yourself anymore. One where you set a goal instead of telling people about it. You shut your mouth and grind. One where you don't wait for motivation, you show up out of respect for the person you're becoming. 24 April is the spark. It's the trigger. It's the moment that says, no more back and forth, no more 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'm either all in or I'm nothing. It's where clarity meets courage, where the dream meets the discipline, where the fire inside your heart finally lights a path you can walk down even when it's dark. Even when you're alone. Even when you're scared out of your mind. Because deep down, you know this is it. This is the time. This is the moment where your life bends in a new direction, not because the world got easier, but because you got stronger. You decided, you drew a line, you said enough. You made 24 April mean something. There comes a moment in every person's life when pain becomes impossible to ignore. It's not the pain of a scraped knee or a bad day. It's the kind of pain that sits in your chest like a stone. It lingers. It whispers in the back of your mind, reminding you of what you didn't do, who you didn't become, and what you know deep down you're capable of. It's that pain that wakes you up at 2 a.m. It's not loud, it's just present. Constant, heavy. For some, it's the pain of regret. For others, it's the pain of being stuck, knowing you were built for something greater but feeling like you're chained to the same routine, the same limits, the same excuses. And most people, when they feel that pain, they run. They numb it, they scroll through their phone, they binge something, they avoid it. But the truth is, that pain is not there to break you. It's there to build you. That pain is trying to become your power. You live in a world obsessed with comfort. Everyone wants the shortcut, the easy way out, the hack. But here's the thing. Power doesn't live in comfort. Growth doesn't live in convenience. The person you want to become, the life you want to live, it's on the other side of pain. And not the kind of pain that happens to you, but the kind of pain you choose to face head on. Most people avoid it, they pretend it's not there. They try to cover it with noise. But you don't run anymore. You stop, you breathe, you look it right in the eyes and say, all right, let's talk. Because when you face your pain, something wild happens. It starts to shift. It starts to teach you. It becomes fuel. It becomes the spark you need to move. There's a fire that comes from being sick of your own excuses, from being done with the stories you've told yourself. That fire is pain turning into power. You know how it starts? It starts with telling yourself the truth. Not the filtered version, not the socially acceptable version. The raw, uncut truth. Maybe it's, I've been lazy. Maybe it's, I've let fear run my life. Maybe it's, I've been blaming everyone but me. And yeah, it hurts. It stings. It makes your stomach twist. But right there is your power. Because the second you stop lying to yourself is the second you get your power back. That pain, that's the fuel tank. That's the thing that drives you. When motivation dies, when you're tired, when no one believes in you, when the lights are off and it's just you and your shadow, power doesn't show up in shiny moments. Power shows up when everything inside you wants to quit and you don't. When your legs shake but you still stand. When your heart breaks but you keep loving. When the world says you can't and you say, watch me. That kind of power is born in pain. It's built in the struggle. It's earned in silence, in grind, in tears no one sees. And the wildest part? One day you'll look back and realize the thing that almost broke you became the reason you became unbreakable. But it only happens when you lean in. There's a shift that happens when you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this trying to make me? That's the pivot. That's when pain turns into purpose. Every setback becomes a setup. Every failure becomes a forge. Every loss becomes leverage. And you start realizing that your scars aren't signs of weakness. They're badges of survival. They say, I've been through the fire, and I'm still here. The world respects that kind of power. People feel it. They don't know what it is, but it radiates from you. It's unshakable. It's not loud. It doesn't brag. It just is. And it's only born when you stop running from the parts of you that hurt. You don't get strength from reading about it. You don't get courage from a motivational quote. You get it from doing the thing you've been avoiding. Having the conversation you don't want to have. Starting the project you keep delaying. Ending the relationship that's draining you. Saying yes when you're scared. Saying no when it's uncomfortable. Standing up when sitting down will be easier. That's where power is built. Every time you choose to act despite the fear, the shame, the insecurity, that's pain becoming power in real time. You become a little more dangerous, a little more grounded, a little more you. And the crazy part, you start to crave it. Not the pain itself, but what it gives you. The strength, the focus, the clarity. You start realizing that pain was never your enemy. It was your ally. It was the part of you that refused to let you settle. It was the pressure that shaped the diamond. It was the voice that said you're meant for more. You stop fearing the hard moments. You welcome them. You stop asking for life to be easier. You ask for yourself to be better. There's a war going on inside your head, and most people don't even realize they're fighting it. Every day, every moment, your mind is firing off thoughts, beliefs, assumptions, habits. Some of them pushing you forward, but most of them holding you back. The human brain is a masterpiece, a survival machine built over millions of years. But it's not designed to make you happy. It's not designed to make you rich, fulfilled, confident, or free. It's designed to keep you safe. That means it's wired to spot danger, to keep you inside the familiar, to protect you from embarrassment, failure, pain, rejection. But here's the problem. The life you want, the goals you've buried deep inside, the version of you that you haven't even let out yet, that version lives on the other side of the unfamiliar. Which means if you don't take control of your mind will keep you exactly where you are, even if it kills your potential in the process. Rewiring your mind isn't about thinking positive. It's not about repeating nice phrases in the mirror and pretending everything is okay. It's not about pretending fear doesn't exist. It's about going deep into the wiring itself. The automatic patterns, the stories you repeat without questioning, the lens you see the world through. Because here's the truth. You don't see the world as it is. You see it as you are. Every experience you've had, every word you've believed, every identity you've attached to, it's all part of the software running your brain. And if that software is full of bugs, full of fear, full of old stories written by other people, you'll keep living in a loop that doesn't belong to you. You'll keep wondering why you never follow through, why you sabotage progress, why success feels foreign, why peace feels temporary. It's not because you're broken. It's because your mind has been programmed that way. Most people don't even realize they have the power to change it. They think thoughts just come and go, like weather. They think belief is something you're born with or lucky to have. But belief is not passive. Belief is a muscle. And just like you train your body you have to train your mind. You have to become the architect of your own thinking. You have to decide what you focus on, because what you focus on you feel, and what you feel becomes your reality. If you focus on what's missing, what's wrong, what's broken, you'll always feel like life is against you. And if you train your mind to focus on what's possible, on what's in your control, on what's already working, you start to feel power, you start to feel momentum. You start to see yourself not as a victim, but as the creator of your experience. Rewiring your mind means you no longer let fear drive the car. You hear it, sure. You feel it, but you don't obey it. You question it. You shine light on it. You ask, where did this belief come from? Who told me I wasn't enough? When did I decide that failure was dangerous? Because once you start questioning the story starts to lose power. And you realize most of what you believe isn't truth. It's repetition. It's something you heard over and over again until it became part of your identity. And identity is the most powerful force in human behavior. You will fight to stay consistent with who you believe you are. So if you believe you're average, you'll find a way to stay average. If you believe you're not a leader, you'll shrink back from moments where leadership is required. If you believe you're unworthy, no amount of compliments or money or love will be enough. You'll push it away. Not because you're bad, but because your wiring says this doesn't fit. This isn't who I am. But here's the breakthrough. You can choose a new identity. You can update the wiring. You can literally change the structure of your brain through repetition, focus, emotion, and action. Neuroplasticity is real. Your mind isn't a fixed machine. It's a living, adapting system. And every time you catch a negative thought and replace it with an empowering one, you're rewiring. Every time you visualize the future you want instead of the failure you fear, you're rewiring. Every time you take action despite doubt, you're sending a message to your brain. We're doing things differently now. And that message matters, because over time, it becomes a new default setting, not about perfection. You'll still have days where the old programming creeps in, but the difference is now you notice it. You see it for what it is, a ghost, an echo, not the truth. And you replace it. You shift focus. You breathe, you move, you act anyway. And little by little, the old patterns lose their grip. The fear loses its bite. The procrastination weakens. The overthinking quiets. And something new emerges. Clarity, purpose, drive. That's the power of a rewired mind. It doesn't need motivation every morning because it's already been programmed to win. It doesn't panic in chaos because it's been trained to find solutions. It doesn't collapse under pressure because it sees pressure as growth. Your thoughts are no longer your enemy, they're your fuel. Your beliefs aren't random, they're chosen. And when your internal world changes, your external world follows without permission. There's a line that separates people who keep talking about change and those who actually do it. And that line is called decision. Not hope, not wish, not I'll try, not someday. It's the moment when you slam your foot down, burn the boat, and say, I don't care how I feel, I've decided. Because here's the brutal truth. Your emotions will lie to you. They will pull you in circles. They will make you feel like you're drowning one moment and floating the next. One day you'll feel ready. The next, you won't even want to get out of bed. And if you build your life on emotion, you will spend it spinning, hesitating, second-guessing, starting and stopping, forever stuck in a loop of almost becoming who you're meant to be, but never actually crossing that line. But the second you replace emotion with decision, the game changes. We live in a world obsessed with feelings. Follow your heart. Go with the flow. Do it when it feels right. But what if it never feels right? What if the life you want lives on the other side of discomfort, of fear, of chaos? What if the very thing that would change your world is the same thing your emotions are screaming for you to avoid. Then what? Do you wait? Do you hope one morning you'll just wake up with the perfect mindset, the right vibe, and all the stars align? That's not how it works. Growth doesn't ask for your mood. Destiny doesn't care about your feelings. Change responds to decision. The kind of decision that says, this is happening, not because I feel like it, but because I said it would. Emotions are like weather. Unstable, unpredictable, constantly shifting. But decision? Decision is the anchor. Decision is the compass. It doesn't change because it's raining. It doesn't back out because you're tired. It doesn't disappear because your mind is loud or your energy is low. It stays, it holds. And when you decide from a place of power, not feeling, you start to build momentum. And momentum is everything. Because once you start moving, once you push past that first layer of resistance, things begin to shift. The action creates the emotion, not the other way around. Most people get it backwards. They wait to feel inspired before they act. But the secret is, it's the action that creates the inspiration. You move your body, you shift your energy. You make the call, you get confident, you take the risk, you unlock the clarity. But none of that happens if you're sitting around waiting for your emotions to cooperate. And it's not about being robotic. It's not about denying how you feel. Emotions are real. They're powerful. But they're not always true. Might feel like you're not good enough, but that doesn't make it a fact. You might feel like you'll fail, but that doesn't mean you will. You might feel scared, but that doesn't mean you're not strong. So you learn to listen to your emotions, but you don't take orders from them. You acknowledge them, you breathe through them, but you don't surrender to them. You lead them. You say, I see you, I hear you, but I'm doing this anyway. That's what separates winners from wishers. It's not talent, it's not luck. It's the ability to act in spite of emotion. Decision creates identity. When you decide you're going to be disciplined, it doesn't matter if you feel lazy. When you decide you're going to be consistent, it doesn't matter if you're not in the mood. When you decide that your dream matters more than your doubt, your actions start to reflect that, and over time your identity shifts. You're no longer someone who starts and stops, you become someone who finishes. You're no longer someone who lets fear sit in the driver's seat, you become someone who leads with vision. That's the power of decision. It rewrites who you are, and it rewires what you believe about yourself. And the moment you start seeing yourself differently, your world starts bending around that belief. People who change their lives are braver than you. They're not smarter. They just made a decision and stuck to it. They made discipline louder than distraction. They made focus stronger than feelings. They stopped negotiating with excuses. They didn't wait for permission or signs or a perfect plan. They just said, I'm tired of being stuck. And then they moved. Even when it was messy, even when it was unclear, even when it felt like nothing was happening. Because that's the thing about real decision, it holds even when you can't see the results yet. It's rooted deeper than outcome. It's about identity. It's about integrity. You do it because it's who you are now, not because it's easy or glamorous or instantly rewarding. And once you operate from that place, everything changes. You start showing up differently. You walk into rooms with presence. You stop needing validation because you've already validated yourself through action. You trust yourself because you've seen yourself follow through. You don't need to fake confidence. It comes from keeping promises to yourself. And all of that, every ounce of it, starts with one decision, one line drawn in the sand. One moment where you say, no more. Not one day, not later, now. You move from feeling to doing, from talking to walking, from hoping to owning. And that's where your life starts to shift. Not in the fireworks, not in the spotlight, but in that quiet, powerful moment where you put emotion aside and choose decision instead. There's a version of you that's already built, already done, already living the life you dream about. They walk different, think different, speak with certainty, wake up with energy, handle setbacks with poise. That version isn't some fantasy, it's real. It exists right now in the blueprint of your mind. But you haven't fully stepped into it yet because you're still clinging to the person you used to be. That old identity, the one made up of fear, doubt, insecurity, excuses, and small patterns, it's familiar, it's safe, but it's not you. Not anymore. Because the second you outgrow your old story, the universe starts calling you into your new one. And when that moment comes, it doesn't knock politely. It hits you. It shakes things. It disrupts everything you thought was stable, not to break you, but to push you into alignment with the person you were always meant to become. That's when the identity shift began. Shifting identity isn't just about setting goals or changing habits. It's about becoming the kind of person who naturally creates the outcomes you want. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your standards. And your standards are dictated by your identity. You can't outperform how you see yourself. If you see yourself as someone who always quits, who can't commit, who's always behind, then you'll act in ways that keep that story alive. But if you start to shift, if you begin to see yourself as someone who finishes, who leads, who dominates, then your behavior follows. Identity drives behavior. And the moment you start to upgrade your identity is the moment your world starts to shift around you. But here's what most people miss. Identity isn't something you find, it's something you forge. You don't wait for life to convince you. You don't wait to feel ready. You decide. You step into it like it's already yours. You wake up and act like the future version of yourself, even when the results haven't shown up yet. You speak like them, move like them, make choices like them. That's how you rewire your mind to believe a new story. That's how you build internal proof. Most people live in reaction to who they were yesterday. But the people who change their lives, the ones who really shift, they live in alignment with who they want to be. They use the vision of their future self as the filter for their present decisions. They don't ask, what do I feel like doing? They ask, what would the upgraded version of me do right now? And then they do it. Whether they feel like it or not, this is where the real battle happens. Not out there in the world, but in the gap between your old identity and your new one. It's a psychological tug-of-war. The old you wants to pull you back into comfort, routine, mediocrity. It whispers lies like, you've never done this before, or this isn't who you are. But that voice isn't truth. It's just history. It's the echo of patterns that no longer serve you. And every time you choose to act from your new identity, you weaken the old one. It's like shedding skin. It's uncomfortable. It feels unnatural, but that's the cost of transformation. You can't take the old you into the new season of your life. Something has to die for something greater to live. The shift is subtle at first. It shows up in how you carry yourself, how you respond to problems, how you talk to yourself in silence. You stop entertaining conversations that drain you. You stop explaining your growth. You stop justifying your boundaries. And people start to notice. Not because you said anything, but because the energy is different. There's a calm in you, a certainty, a quiet confidence that comes from doing the inner work. That's when you know the shift has begun. Because identity isn't loud, it's felt. It's in your presence, in how you walk in the rooms, in how you handle resistance, in how you bounce back when things go sideways. And the more you live from this upgraded place, the more you realize it was never about becoming someone else. It was about remembering who you've always been underneath the noise. You begin to let go of outdated beliefs like I'm not good enough, or I always mess things up, or success is for other people. And you replace them with truths like I'm built for this, and I lead with courage, and I create what I commit to. That rewiring process takes repetition, intention, discipline, but it works. And slowly your identity shifts from something accidental to something engineered, something designed, built by you, for you, based on truth, not fear. And once you taste that level of power, you can't go back. You can't keep living like the version of you who tolerated less than they deserve. You can't keep shrinking to fit into spaces you've already outgrown. You can't keep playing roles in stories that don't reflect your real capacity. Because the new identity is not just about achievement, it's about alignment. When your identity and your actions are aligned, peace follows, power follows, progress becomes natural, confidence becomes a baseline, and success becomes inevitable. Not because you chased it. You've heard the call, you felt the fire, and now there's no going back. This isn't just another motivational moment, this is a wake-up punch to the soul. A reminder that April 24 isn't just another date on the calendar. It's a marker, a reset, a shift, a moment that divides who you were from who you're about to become. Because everything we've walked through, the power of decisions, the rewiring of your mind, the elevation of your standards, the disobedience to emotion, the identity shift, all of it leads here. Point where you stop watching your life and start owning it. A point where you stop asking what's going to happen and realize you are what's going to happen. You are the change, you are the storm, you are the breakthrough. And if April 24 is the line in the sand, then this is where you step over it. Not someday, not when it's easy, not when it feels good, right now. Because your future is waiting for a signal. Let this be it.